Resident Evil is a survival horror video game developed by Capcom at the beginning of the 21st century. It is a remake of the 1996 title of the same name, but it is not much different from the original version. The game is notable for its graphical overhaul, mechanical updates, and revived subplots. It received positive reviews from video game critics, with many praising the overhaul and increased scare factor. Hello everyone, welcome to 24 Theory. In this video we'll be looking at the story of Resident Evil. This video will contain spoilers, so if you want to play the game for yourself then you've been warned. Well, without waiting, let's get into the video. Resident Evil is a survival horror game where the player controls the on-screen character from a third-person perspective to interact with the environment. To advance, the player must explore a mansion and its surrounding areas while avoiding, outsmarting, and defeating monsters including zombies and giant spiders. The player can open doors, push certain objects, climb obstacles, and pick up items. When an item is collected, it is stored in an inventory that the player can access at any time. Items in the inventory can be used, examined, and combined to solve puzzles and gain access to areas that were previously inaccessible. The inventory is limited to a certain number of slots, and the player must often move items from the inventory to storage boxes located in certain areas to manage space. Although the player can use firearms to kill monsters, Resident Evil emphasizes evasion over fast-paced combat by providing the player with limited ammunition. The player has a limited amount of health, which decreases when attacked by monsters. Players can regain health by collecting and using herbs, which can be mixed with other herbs to increase their healing effect. Some monsters can also infect the player with a poisoning effect, which gradually depletes the player's health over time until the poison is cured with serum or special herbs. Zombies that are defeated but not beheaded or burned eventually revive and mutate into faster and deadlier forms. The player can control either Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine, each with advantages and disadvantages. For example, Chris can take and deal more damage than Jill, but Jill can carry more items and unlock certain doors with a lockpick. Both characters can equip defensive weapons that can save them from taking damage when seized by an enemy. These defensive weapons include a dagger and a unique special weapon. Jill can use a taser, while Chris can shove stun grenades into zombies' mouths and detonate them with a pistol shot. Defensive weapons are limited and can only be used when the player is grabbed by a monster. The game features an automap to help players navigate the different areas of the game. Additionally, the player can pick up maps of certain sections to reveal unexplored areas. To save their progress, players need to find ink ribbons and use them with a typewriter. The game features a limited supply of ink ribbons, so players cannot save their progress as many times as they want. The story is slightly altered by the character the player chooses to play as, and certain choices the player makes in the game can impact the direction of the game and its ending. Upon completing the game under a certain difficulty setting and time limit, the player may unlock secret costumes for the main characters, bonus weapons, and special difficulty modes. The game begins on the night of Friday the 24th of July 1998. The Special Tactics and Rescue Service, a police special forces unit consisting of ex-soldiers and scientists, has been assigned into the Arklay Mountains to investigate a series of cannibalistic homicides conducted by an unidentified group of people. Split into two teams, the Bravo team, sent out the previous night, has ceased radio contact, forcing the Alpha team to investigate their disappearance on top of completing the mission. Alpha team identifies Bravo team's derelict helicopter on the ground and investigates, finding the body of its pilot, Kevin Dooley, but no sign of the others, including its co-pilot, Edward Dewey. Soon into the search, Alpha team's Joseph Frost is attacked by a pack of mutant dogs and his body torn apart. His comrades, unable to save him, are soon forced to flee from the dogs as well. In the commotion, pilot Brad Vickers takes off, stranding the remaining 4 members of Alpha team behind. Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Barry Burton, and their leader Captain Albert Wesker rush into a large mansion seen from afar. Soon after arriving in the mansion, the 4 stars officers split up to search the building, though it is uncertain which actions are attributed to who. Investigating a gunshot near the dining room, Dr. Kenneth J. Sullivan of Bravo team is found dying of a fatal throat injury, having been murdered by a mutant cannibal. Forrest Speyer is found on a balcony seemingly dead, but he gets up soon after as another mutant. Richard Aiken is found poisoned from a venomous mutant snake, and either dies of poisoning or by another mutant after treatment. Redfield himself discovers Bravo team's medic, Rebecca Chambers, while exploring the mansion, but she is limited mostly to the medical storerooms to offer treatment for injuries. Valentine meanwhile works with Burton in investigating the mansion, and begins to suspect something is wrong about him due to his movements. As time passes in the investigation, the officers become aware the mansion is part of a base operated by Umbrella Pharmaceuticals and Umbrella USA for viral research, with the escaped mutants being the result of an escaped mutagenic virus which induced a murderous insanity due to brain damage and radical hormonal changes. In further search of the mansion, they learn of the Trevor family, George, Jessica, and Lisa, who were abducted by Umbrella Pharmaceuticals in the 1960s for use in research of the progenitor virus by one of Umbrella's founders, Dr. Oswell E. Spencer, Earl Spencer, for who the mansion was built for. Lisa is still alive, having been kept as a human test subject for years, though she has been driven mad and horrifically mutated. With the mansion's guards dead or mutated, she is free to roam and kill as she pleases. In a nearby building used as a dormitory for laboratory workers, it is discovered to be wrecked by a giant plant, Plant 42, a mutant plant research specimen. It ran amok during the accident and attacked the staff to drain them of blood for sustainable, moving its ivies. Its growth is attributed to drinking from the basement below, which houses a massive shark tank for research on fish-based mutants. In the courtyards underground, Bravo team captain Enrico Marini is discovered injured. He believes there is a traitor within STARS, responsible for their casualties, but is assassinated by a third party who quickly escapes. Moving into the laboratory, the investigation comes to a close. The nature of the virus research is finally understood to have been part of illegal bioweapons research on behalf of the United States military in disregard of the Bioweapons Convention. The latest virus, Epsilon, leaked out during an accident, leading to the staff being infected and, unable to maintain the facility, allowed the bioweapons to escape. Captain Wesker, a former U.S. Army researcher, is discovered to not only be a former member of Umbrella U's lab team, but continued to work as a spy for the company throughout. Under orders from Umbrella, Captain Wesker brought STARS into the mansion to both prevent the alternative of state troopers being involved as well as to prove the mutants' effectiveness in killing armed professionals. Finally, he has orders to destroy the laboratory to destroy any incriminating material and recover embryonic clone samples of the Bow. Burton is revealed to have been forced to assist in the destruction of material, under threat of his family's murder. Captain Wesker is cornered on level B4 of the lab, and not only confesses to the actions, but also adds that he plans to betray Umbrella upon completion of the mission, destroying the lab and instead handing over the embryonic clones to a rival company. Umbrella U's latest bioweapons creation, the T2 Tyrant, is awoken from its slumber with orders to kill the other STARS members. He turns on Captain Wesker instead, and impales him with his claws before going after the others. The laboratory's self-destruct system is activated, and the 4 remaining STARS members, Burton, Chambers, Redfield, and Valentine, rush to the helipad to alert Vickers to their need of rescue. The T2 confronts them on the helipad as the helicopter arrives, but is destroyed by a direct hit from a rocket. The STARS members fly away over the mountains as the Spencer mansion explodes.